What's up, everybody? It's Unplayable, your favorite show about our favorite games. This is your Father's Day special. I know it's releasing a couple days later, but it is Father's Day, and we have the great privilege of hosting the world's greatest dad. Everybody, welcome Jim Braden.
Great to be here. Thank you. My non-existent kids have been very kind all day.
That's
I'm
great.
sure.
That's great. Yep.
Did they give you that hat?
No, I got this hat from summer camp staff that I used to be on. I was like 5 years older than the rest of the staff, so we just laid down the law, and they got me this to say, "You're old."
Let's go.
All right. It's not just Jim's Father's Day. It's also Mike and Jay's. Mike, how's your Father's Day?
It was great. Great. I had my first Father's Day, so kind of weird that I get to celebrate this holiday now, but it was a good day. No complaints.
Love it. Jay?
Oh, I love it. Ever since we had the baby, I'm like, yes, another gift receiving holiday. Let's go.
Today, at some point, my wife told my kids that they just had to be super cool to me all day. It was literally like in the church after church, and I heard my 5-year-old like lean over to my 3-year-old and say, "Brooke, we can't argue with Dad today. He gets to make all the decisions, remember?" And I was like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
That's awesome.
I'm gonna start having a weekly Father's Day and just tell my 5-year-old.
You need to just con your kids into thinking that it's a daily thing.
Yeah. It was great. It was a fun day.
I'm glad that they recognize that you only get to make the decisions when it's Father's Day.
Yeah. Only one day a year or 2 days, my birthday and Father's Day, I get to choose where we go for lunch. That's it.
Yes.
It was great. But we didn't record last week. We had lots of scheduling issues. Mike was at Disney getting the scoop on Lorcana. He was threatening them with physical violence if they don't send any spoilers out to Ravensburger. So
and guess
thanks
what?
for doing that, Mike.
We got new cards. It worked.
Yeah. And so everybody can thank Mike for all the spoilers we've got.
You're welcome.
He went straight to Bob Iger's CEO office.
Yep.
Held him by the shirt collar and said, "More Lorcana spoilers."
That's so good. This is perfect. Literally, as we're recording, my daughter just came and she's just holding on to me now. This is a great for she's just hanging out, I guess. But let's talk about our week in gaming. Who wants to kick it off?
I can go first. I probably have done the most gaming stuff. So I've done a few things. I've only really played Magic since our last podcast. Well, I guess at least this week. I played some Commander with my neighbors again. We played 4 players. I tried a new deck this time. So there's a Knight deck that came out with the March of the Machine, and it's probably the best Commander precon out of the 4. And I ended up winning. It was that deck's pretty sick. So I did that, and then I went and got a bunch of the Lord of the Rings stuff. So I got the Sauron, Orcs of Mordor, or whatever it's called, Commander deck. And then I also got the Frodo and Samwise Commander deck, because it's like that. Those are the 2 most iconic. It's like Sauron versus Frodo. Like if me and my dad want to play, or me and my brother want to play, it'll be like the movie basically. And then besides that, I didn't get to go to a pre-release. I wanted to, but I didn't get a chance to. But I did get a box. I haven't opened any packs yet. It's been like 3 or 4 days and I haven't opened any packs, so I'm proud of myself. I want to play with the...
Are you trying to keep them sealed? Are you trying to keep the box sealed?
I just want to play with the Commander decks a couple times first, and then we're going to just like crack some packs and upgrade our decks or whatever.
Nice.
Kind of
get
more
like a
casual.
$2 million pull or something like that.
Exactly. I mean, just pull the One Ring. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get the collector's packs. That would be an interesting discussion though. Like, why is there a $450 box that you can buy that has fewer cards, but it's the only way you can get to run One Ring? Like,
yeah, because there's a $2 million bounty attached to the $400 price point.
Ridiculous. Um,
It's amazing how
someone-
much power Wizards holds. Like
Did
that's
someone
that's
pull
crazy.
it yet or no?
no,
Okay,
there's some fakes going around online,
of course.
but you can tell. I learned that you can tell if it's a picture of a fake, because for this one card they used a stamp on it for the 1 of 1,
Hmm.
so it's not printed on the card. So that's how you can tell.
That's smart. That's smart.
Other stuff I've done, I cut out 8 copies of all of the Lorcana proxies. So me and my dad, because he's gonna be playing in some of the Lorcana stuff at Gen Con, and he hasn't like played the game yet, so we're gonna play some games so he can get
Nice.
warmed up. And then also I've made 35 Destiny or actually we call it Destiny Trash decks, because it's not the same as Destiny Smash. It's our own homebrew here at Unplayable. And my office is still kind of a mess with cards all over the place and dice, because I have an actual insane amount of Destiny cards and dice.
Yep.
So that's my week.
Nice.
Amazing. About the rest of you?
I was traveling most of the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and so I basically just played Marvel Snap, hit Infinite, which was pretty sweet, and then I've been
nice.
playing the new Conquest mode, which is actually really fun. It's like sort of escalating. I mean, it's all Marvel Snap, right? It's all the same game type, game mode, but you basically are like put into best of whatever, because you have a certain amount of like basically health, and if you lose all your health, you lose. But so the first conquest is against one opponent, the second conquest is against 2, the third one's against 3, and so to win the gold conquest or whatever, you have to win like 3 sort of matches in a row, not 3 games, which is super fun to try and sort of figure out what deck can do well in that format. Like, once you know what your opponent like can do in their game plan, like it becomes a really interesting experience where like exactly the cards that you need to play around. Like I feel like it turns the mind games up to 11 because you know what your opponent can do with the deck that they have. So very cool. And yeah, I've been enjoying that.
That's really interesting. I feel like that would be like the best way to play that game, actually, or at least like competitively.
Yeah,
Like
I
at a
think it
ranked
is
level.
for sure. Yeah, because I think like on ladder, like when it's just one-off games, you can cheese people really easily because they don't have any, like they can expect what you have in your deck, but the game revolves so heavily around like bluffing and that sort of like poker element to it that it's a lot harder to bluff when your opponent knows what you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it still has the snap mechanic in there. So it's like with your 10 health or whatever that you have, rather than getting cubes, it's like that's how much you would lose.
Exactly.
So it's even the mind games early on of snapping.
Oh,
it's
100%.
Like, you really want to see it? Like
Yeah.
just for info, is it worth that extra help?
So the game that is very similar that came out before this to this game is called Land Air Sea, and I've talked about it before. But what's interesting is the way that game plays is identical to like this game mode, where it's like you have to, like, if you concede early, they get way fewer points, and it's the first one to a certain point threshold, rather than like it's the same thing but backwards. It's hilarious that like not only was it very similar to it to begin with, but now it's
like becoming even more
identical.
similar.
All I heard was there's about to be another lawsuit out there in the gaming world.
Somehow
You
Upper Deck
stole
is
our
going to claim
game!
this one as well.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that, did we?
No,
Not
we
yet.
didn't.
No.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like this game is more similar to Land Air Sea than whatever Racing Icar is to Lorcana.
Now that I know that game is a thing, I'm like dying to see anything from it, just to see how similar it really is.
Chasing
I feel like it'll
Icar.
be laughable, honestly, but to be determined.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that's pretty quick. I've only played Marvel Snap and then a little bit of Keyforge. I was also traveling past couple of weeks, so got to show some friends the new set, which was really fun. Took home some games, lost a couple, but yeah, it was fun. Just getting to play some Winds of Exchange.
Nice.
It's good. Yeah, Jim, did we play? We played Keyforge on TTS at least once, right? That was you and me.
Yeah, we did.
So that's fun.
I tried to forget it because you steamrolled me, but
Good times. Yeah, that's fun.
We did play some more Keyforge like a couple weeks ago, but that was like, I guess it will have been like right after our last podcast, so it's been a minute.
Isn't it weird? We were so good on like weekly podcasts. This is the first time we've had to be like, wait, when was that? Like,
Yeah, I know.
1 week off, and it's like
we had 2 people out of town, so it was kind of like tough. It was just a tough week to try and schedule it. It's fine.
Yep.
So is this starting like new episode 0? Like we're just starting over?
Yeah. Welcome to the first episode
of Unlistenable.
2.0.
That's not wrong.
The collector's edition.
Yeah, my weekend game, I did not play any games. I'm not gonna go into details. Had some family emergencies this week that were kind of crazy. So, but what I did do is I bought the newly released game called Star Wars Shatterpoint. So now Mike and I have spent the same amount of money on this game.
Shatterpoint buddies.
I love any Shatterpoint bros. But yeah, I went in. It's kind of cool. Like where I live, there's a new store that opened like a month ago that seems to be more minis. Although I went in, they had like the big 3, like, and they had Flesh and Blood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one coming in. That one's like 20 minutes away, and there's another local game store coming in that has like a couple other locations around Chicago, and they're like they have a great reputation, and it's going in like downtown area, really cool shop, and like it's around like some cool places too. And they open in like 2 weeks, so I feel like I got here after moving, and like all these like game stores are moving in like at the perfect time. So I'm pumped. But I got to go in. The owner was really cool. He offered to like use because they had a demo copy like on display with it all set up too. And he's like, I can show you, like we can actually like play a little bit. And I didn't have time to do that, but it was enough to be like, you know what? I keep coming back to this game. I want it to be on my shelf, and I'm going to learn the rules. So I learned, I like really kind of invested in time into like reading the rules and watching some stuff. I feel like I have a good grasp of the rules. And then last night, it was just by myself in the living room, and I was just sitting there like assembling all the like the Shatterpoint like figures, and like half of me hates it, and the other half is like very content with like a mindless like just activity to do, so like where I don't really have to think that hard. It's just jigsaw puzzles. So I don't know how I feel about that. The painting's a different story, because that's like that requires too much.
That's a whole other world.
But the assembling, I mentioned this to you guys, but like I have like a hobby knife, so you like shave off any of like the plastic edges, and I was shaving off this one edge, and I like completely just like stabbed my thumb with this hobby knife, and it was one of those like really fine cuts where it went deep but it didn't cut a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't notice right away, and then I was holding this piece together and like with the glue, and then I saw this like red streak around it, and I was like, how did I get paint on this already? And I like start looking at it, I was like, oh, I'm bleeding profusely. Like this is a problem. So there's like dried blood under the glue of my Captain Rex. Like Captain
Nice.
Rex has legit blood like
That's
sealed
badass.
underneath the glue. So I had to stop assembling because I couldn't get the bleed like under control. Like I couldn't finesse my fingers on this. So I had to stop for the night while I was watching Return of the Jedi. But it was still fun. I put a few more together today, and I'm enjoying the process. So
Nice.
We'll see.
Well, you'll have to teach me how to play once I actually go and pick up my set.
Yeah. We could play at Gen Con. I know they're doing demos and stuff. So
That'd be fun.
If that's the first time, we can actually do it.
Yeah, I'm down.
When are we getting some Star Wars rival stuff though?
Oh,
I've seen people get stuff.
Yeah.
So I ordered some online from this shop that I had never heard of before. And I emailed them yesterday because I remembered that I had ordered it. I ordered like a display case of them or whatever it was. It was, I mean, it wasn't crazy expensive, but I emailed them and then they emailed me back and they said something to the effect of, we're taking pre-orders until July 5th. And then after that, at some point in the future, we don't know when yet, but we're going to sell them because they told us that we're going to have products. So I was like, okay.
Jesus.
Because I mean, I falsely was under the assumption that they would have the product at the same time as Walmart has the product. And that is not correct. So I may have to return this or cancel this order and then go pick some up at Walmart or whatever. Even though I'd actually rather like not support Walmart and support whoever this company is instead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it. Like I probably won't play physically anytime soon. So
I don't think it's a bad thing to support Walmart since they are like Walmart and Target are like doing a lot of pushing for like board game stuff and they get a lot of people in the hobby. So I think
that's true.
Walmart, Barnes and Noble, and Target are fine. Like, yeah, support your local game store and everything. It's different if you're supporting like Amazon, where it's like they don't do anything for the board game industry, whereas like Target is getting like tons of specific games that they are getting early and like mass producing and getting a lot of people into the hobby, even if they're not a local game store.
I feel like I would be more willing to do that if it was Target versus Walmart, but I just personally like I have no love for Walmart, and I try my hardest to not ever step foot inside of one. So that maybe it's just a me thing though.
No, I no, like when you live like near Target. Yeah, it's like you go there all the time compared to Walmart.
Oh yeah,
for me anyway.
For sure. Yeah, there's like in the town that I live in, they're like across the street from each other basically, and I go into Target every couple of weeks, and I have literally never once been in the Walmart. So I was trying to keep it that way.
You will now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, ready to get into the news? We actually have news, guys.
Sure.
All right, Whit, do you guys want to talk Lorcana or SWU first?
Well, there can't be any Lorcana news, right? That's not a thing. Like they don't do that anymore.
You'd think that.
Let's do Lorcana first.
Yeah, Lorcana.
Lorcana first?
Yeah, why not?
All right, guys. Someone back at the office at Ravensburger said, "Oh crap, we've got bad news in the algorithms happening. We have to change the narrative." And immediately, suspiciously, they started dropping spoilers. Yay! We have new Lorcana cards to talk about. So we've got 6 new cards and actually a couple kind of new information, rulings, pips, things like that. But I'll talk about this first card. We got a Timon ally. It's amber, cost 1. It's inkable, grub rustler. It's a 1. Oh gosh, willpower. Is that what it's called? Willpower, 2 strength.
Yeah.
Or
well, the health is willpower.
Oh, okay, yeah. So 1 strength and 2 willpower. Is that what we call that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tastes like chicken. When you play this character, you may remove up to 1 damage from chosen character, and it quests for 1 pip. What do you guys think?
I'm so bored of this card already. I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's
fine.
No.
So I wonder, like, I want to see the rest of the card pool. Moana has 6 health, which is pretty chunky, right? So I feel like there's a lot of amber cards that heal. So like there's the Dingle Hopper or whatever, and this, and then Healing Glow. I wonder if there's just a lot of like characters that have a lot of health, and like there will be a point where you can just have a healing deck, and it's like you quest or you don't quest, you attack and heal your person all the way back up. So it's like they didn't take any damage. But right now, it's like, I don't care about this card. Get it out here.
Well said.
All right. I wonder if we get some kind of like beast mode, big giant Timon, where you can you need it so that you can sneak them in.
like a
you know.
shift thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, shift. Like
I would be shocked, but I guess it's possible.
I mean, it does.
Oh, dude, that would
it-
be so sick if the shift was like Timon riding Pumbaa.
there
Like
it
that's
is.
what you shifted
Ooh.
onto Timon.
I would
dude,
love to say the sentence like we are living in a Timon and Pumbaa meta. Like that's
right.
a sentence I would love to say.
What if they did team up cards, where if you had two
Here we
characters
go.
out on the field, you could
Yep.
shift onto both of them. Like you have to have both Timon and Pumbaa, and then Timon and Pumbaa both go underneath the shifted team up card.
Wow.
The
Are
card
you
has
just
to be
giving out
so
these ideas
rusty.
for free tonight,
I am.
Mike?
I am.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
All
only
right.
way that's gonna ever be worth it is if you like every single one
It'd
of
be,
those
like, free
characters
to
has
do.
a ward, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
otherwise you're giving up
Yeah, it's
two
a really
guys.
easy way to
Dragonfire just
overextend
isn't-
and consolidate your board in a very stupid way.
Yeah.
All right, next spoiler. We've got a green card, everybody. They're real. Emerald is real. It's Iago, the loudmouth parrot, costs 3. It's inkable. It's a 1/4 quest for 1 with an ability called You Got a Problem. You can exert it. Chosen character gains reckless during their next turn, which in parentheses reminder text they can't quest and must challenge if able. And this is a rare. I didn't mention that. Timon's a common, but that's the rare symbol, isn't it?
I think
That
so. Is
little-
it the triangle?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's rare. That's rare. I don't know. This one doesn't excite me at all.
All I know is I love Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes.
So every time I see this card, I'm going to hear his voice.
That's so good.
If you don't know, Gilbert Gottfried is the creator of a joke called the Aristocrats.
Aristocrats, yep.
And the premise of the joke is it starts the same and it ends the same, but anybody that like tells the joke, it just says a bunch of like horrific and obscene and graphic things, and then you end the joke the same way. It's you had to be there to hear it.
I think I
funny.
watched a documentary about that joke, like, because I remember, I don't know, a bunch of different comedians talking about it, including Gilbert Gottfried. I don't know. That's the only reason why I know that it's a thing. I didn't think it was a very funny joke, but
It's not.
So those are our official thoughts on Iago. Moving on.
I would say I have nothing to contribute.
I feel like-
I don't know.
It's so
It's
bad.
the
This is
style
why
line
people listen to Unplayable right here.
the style line seems kind of bad for the cost.
Yeah,
to
1/4. Come on, for a 3.
Maybe giving a thing reckless is super good, but it can just attack into your 1/4 Iago. So like, is
It's
it
gonna
really
stay
that
alive.
good?
A year
don't
from now, we're gonna have to have a conversation about reckless because we've been pretty down
Yeah.
on it, and
Yep.
they seem to be pretty high on it. So I'm wondering what cards we haven't seen, or like
Mhm.
I don't know.
They also clarified that apparently they can do anything but quest. So like if
Yes,
you
they can
give them
sing, do an
reckless,
accent.
they can-
Oh, interesting.
which is very odd.
So like
Uh,
if you do it with like to an Elsa, they could use their ability instead of
Yes,
You're
attack.
right,
Yeah.
Huh.
which is so weird.
That seems odd. Yeah, that's counterintuitive.
It makes
I
it,
don't like it.
way worse too, right?
Mhm.
yeah. Like in Keyforge, it's like the enraged token. If the creature can fight, it like
It has to
to
right?
use it, you have to fight. Like, and you don't clear
Mhm.
it until you fight. Like, you can't do anything else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
What is the
Yeah.
wording on reckless too? Let me see.
It says they can't quest and must challenge if able.
Which is so
But
weird.
that like the clarification, like if able.
yeah.
So I wonder if the I didn't read the full question, or yeah, so maybe it was like if there's no creatures on the or characters on the
Mm,
board, then
mhm.
they're able to do something other than quest, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah, I think the other weird thing with that is like, do they have to attack, or can they just choose not to challenge at all? Like, it says if able, they must. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it sounds like they have to,
So
right? I don't know.
that's
At least
what I
according to
would
the
read it as.
reminder text.
that just feels weird to like force an action that like the
It-
other
should
player
it-
has to remember to do.
It should, instead of able, they should have said used.
Yeah, if you ever, but they don't have a generic use term in this like Keyforge
Mhm.
does,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it's
which
like,
is
well,
actually
seems
a
like you
really
have to.
interesting because it's probably a cleaner design to have that in place for stuff like this.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got
I
more
think
green
he's
spoilers.
too slow. He's just too slow. Like you have
Yeah,
to play
I'm
him.
not excited to put him in attack.
Yeah,
Right.
not at all.
I'm gonna try it and see if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't think I am.
All right, here's a better green card for you then, guys. We got the Genie.
Probably the worst card that we've seen spoiled so far.
Yeah.
Genie is?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Healthy dose of
I'm
sarcasm.
trolling you, David.
Okay. Because I'm not... I have to click back and forth the tabs to look at the spoilers, so I can't see your face when you say it, you know? Nonverbal communication. Anyways, Genie costs 6. You cannot ink it. It's uninkable.
Trash.
But he's a 3/4 with 2 pips with evasive, which seems important to finally get some evasive in green. Disappear when you play this character. You may return chosen character to their player's hand. Robert, we got all these like famous actors like popping up on the cast. We got Robin Williams and
Will Smith.
Yeah,
actually.
R.I.P. to both.
yeah.
Yeah, except for
Gilbert,
Will Smith.
not Will Smith.
Well, no, well, unless you're talking about his acting career, but
Yeah, his career in general.
Wait, who did? Wait, where did Will Smith come from
He plays Genie in
He
the live
plays-
action.
yeah.
in the live action? Got it. I was
Yeah.
like, he was not the voice of Timon. That was
That was Billy Crystal.
yeah, Billy Crystal. That's right.
Mhm.
I thought we had to clarify something.
This card is self-explanatory. It seems like it's going to be
Yeah.
really good, especially
This is a card that's worth paying 6 for.
exactly. He- what do we need to say? This
So the
is
first
so
card I thought
good.
of was just like "Let It Go," the song
Mhm.
that costs 5
Mhm.
to put a card into their ink, which again you could use for yourself to like ramp you, I guess. But well, can you? Does it say opponent? Or
Yeah, you
No,
can.
you
You
can,
can
yeah.
use it.
Okay,
So.
yeah, so you could use it for yourself to ramp, but that was the closest initial comparison I came up with. So that costs 5. This is one more with evasive in
Yeah, it's-
green, which is pretty sweet because I thought evasive was mostly going to be a ruby like keyword. And so
I have a feeling they just gave it to him based on theme rather than
Yeah.
like deciding to balance it.
I think so too. But I mean, two Lord of Quest is nothing to scoff at. I don't love the 3/4. That feels like a 3-cost stat line there.
He costs 6.
Yeah, but you
Doesn't
get the
Tigger
bounce,
cost
though.
6?
Yeah, Tigger
Yes.
costs 6, and he has 2 also.
And
and
he's
a 4/4.
this guy lets you
Yeah.
bounce a card. Like this is just so much better than Tigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow, that's a one. Well, you can ink Tigger though, so you can't do that with.
I'm
Genie.
only
You're so
ever
right.
inking Tigger. I'm never playing Tigger. I can tell you that much.
That's hilarious.
I mean, this card is obviously really good, right? Like we've talked about quite a few times, like how good it is to be able to answer something that your opponent just played,
mhm.
and this lets you do that while putting a threat
Mhm.
on the board. That is a significant threat. So, very good card.
And like, imagine like late game, you're both top decking. It's like, all right, I'm gonna play
Mhm.
this big guy. All right, I'm gonna play my big guy and just bounce yours. Like
Exactly.
you get so much.
You just
tempo.
time walk somebody with this. Like it's. I think it's a really really good card.
I'm excited for the discard meta where both players have a Genie and like a item that lets you discard a card from their hand. So it's just both of y'all Genie top deck back and forth into Oblivion. I think that's gonna be a really fun meta. to play.
Sounds super fun. I mean, already if you have Genie and your opponent has Genie, you can just bounce each other's Genies forever.
100%.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, speaking of meta-defining cards, let me tell you guys about Archimedes.
Oh, great.
Should have started with this one. This is a one cost inkable purple guy. He's a 2/2 vanilla with one amber pip. It's a common. Oh, I should have said Genie's a was that super rare? Is that what
Is
they
he
call
super
it?
rare or legendary? No, he's super rare, right?
Super rare, yeah.
Yeah, Beast is legendary. I think Archimedes is probably the best card in the game.
Broken.
The fact that it's purple
sarcasm
means that it's the best.
It does trade into Captain Hook 1 cost, so therefore.
Oh yeah, probably
it's incredible.
Best
I'm gonna be completely honest though. Well, I guess I could say on the next card. Everyone says purple's the best color. I think green's giving it a run for its money
green's
now.
pretty dang good
now.
All right, we can move on. Rafiki, with some sweet art, we got some more Lion King action. Cost 3, but not inkable. Mysterious Sage, 3/3 with 1 amber pip, but it has Rush built in. And if you forget what Rush is, it says in parentheses, this character can challenge the turn they're played, and this comes in at uncommon. So good.
I think it's pretty good. The fact that you can't ink is always rough.
That's why I don't understand it.
It costs 3, so like it, you can get it out of your hand pretty quickly. Interestingly, like the blue Mickey is the same cost.
Mm-hmm.
Which one generally do you guys think is better? Neither of them are inkable.
For me, I know that answer.
Yeah, you never want to play that Mickey.
Rafiki all day. Rafiki all day. But I've had
Rush.
I also like you can only include so many non-inkable cards in your deck. Yeah. So it's like
true.
Whenever you build your deck, you're gonna have to look at all the non-inkable cards and decide which ones you want to have in your deck to like whatever we decide is the threshold. Like say it's 10. It's like, all right, well now you're comparing this with other non-inkable cards rather than like the rest of the card pool.
Yeah.
And it gets really dicey because you can easily clog your hand with non-inkable. Like it feels bad when you have all non-inkables.
It feels real bad.
Yeah. I will say, at least we mentioned Baby Hook, but sometimes those game states it gets in this like weird stalemate where like you've got your Baby Hook, they've got their Baby Hook, and it's like, well, if you quest and they're getting value because they're gonna wreck this thing, and you don't have anything to return, so to be able to like quest and get your value out of your 2 pip questing character, knowing it's probably going to get Baby Hooked, and then you're just going to drop a Rafiki and kill the Baby Hook, and Rafiki will still have 2 health left after that because he's not getting challenged, is kind of nice because sometimes they can just sit there with those hooks for a long time, and so I don't know. So it's not exactly Smash on a stick because they have to be exerted, but if you don't have anyone on board and they feel safer to quest with something.
It's interesting to compare this to Smash because in some situations it's better, in some situations it's worse, right?
Right. Would you say the upside of this is higher than the upside? So like being able to play Rafiki, defeat something immediately, and have a creature on the board a higher upside than being able to deal 3 to something that's ready?
I think probably like Rafiki can ultimately win you the game, right? So I think like that you have to consider that too, where like it is a character that you can use to quest with if you need to. I guess like maybe it depends on like how you're building your deck, right? Do you need like higher density of characters, or like then this is essentially like a character plus Smash a lot of the time. So
and it's
more versatile.
It's like it's a different style of board control. Like when you're running red, it's like like okay, Dragon Fire is a thing, or like you're playing against red, or if you're playing against blue, it's like okay, they could drop to Let It Go. If you're playing against steel, the damage out of hand is real. Against Amethyst, it's like, well, how are you going to take care of my stuff? So I like that it's a little bit different. They all have like a little bit different way of like controlling board. So I think this is interesting, but I think to Jay's point, there is a limit to how many non-inkable cards you're going to be able to play safely in your deck. And does Rafiki make the cut? at the end. I don't know. We'd have to see the whole card pool, but
Mm-hmm.
You also say that Rafiki could potentially win you the game, but Smash could also potentially keep you from losing the game.
That's true.
yeah, but Rafiki could do both. That's
Well,
I think that's
Because
No,
if
'cause he-
they have a guy that's ready,
oh true, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. Like when it's
Yeah.
like, oh well, next turn I quest, and if you can't deal with this stuff,
Yeah, they're both you know.
wait, but even
they're
if
both
they're
good in different
ready,
situations. Well, if they're
I-
ready, then
I-
you can't rush into them.
yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Yeah.
I personally don't think this card's going to see any play, but maybe I'm wrong.
That was sort of my first reaction was like, I
think
I
that
ever put this in my deck because you can't ink
non-inkable,
it.
yeah, not being able to ink it is what would keep it from seeing play.
Right.
100%.
Like,
Yeah,
the only-
if you could ink it, I'd play this, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because the only cards I want that you can't ink have to directly like help my win condition. Like Mickey ramping for me is my win condition, therefore I'm okay with that not being able to be inked. But this one is just kind of like a situationally okay thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not going to go.
I think
away.
purple has a fair amount of non-inkable cards too, so it's
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Right.
are you gonna play one cost Maleficent with 2 lore pips, or are you gonna play this?
Maleficent all day.
All right, our final spoiler of Lorcana is a legendary.
Let's go.
We've got Beast in Emerald. So he costs 5 non-inkable. He's a 4/4 with 2 pips, and he comes in with Rush, just like Rafiki, and an ability called Roar. When you play this character, exert all opposing damaged characters. So theoretically, you could, if their whatever big questing character was damaged, you could play Beast, exert it, rush into it, and kill it or whatever. But this one, you guys seemed a little cool on this one in Discord. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't know. I mean, you guys might be a bit more excited about it than I am, but it just seems like the stats are okay. Rush is nice. The ability seems very situational. It feels like a build around card, like without that good of a payoff in a way. Like you get to exhaust everything, cool, but then like you have to already have stuff on the board able to capitalize on that. And maybe
he
you
has
do,
Rush, so
maybe you
can
don't.
use him.
Yeah, he can use himself, but he only has a 4/4. So, like the
But they
big
already
stuff
have
that you're
damage on
afraid
them,
of.
so they probably it's enough.
Right. But the big stuff you're afraid of, he probably trades into, right? Like at that point, why are you spending? Is this cost 6? Like, why are you spending 6 on this? Why,
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe
And
it's like
5
a green dragon fire sort of thing, but you have to have already sunk the damage in.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
5
I don't know.
does seem like that threshold of just like it's still mid game, so it's not like 5 to 6. Just to me has felt like that like weird threshold of like if it's 6 or more, this thing better be incredible. Where I look at this, I see like, oh, pop like Emerald with steel with all of their like damage from actions essentially, and like that could get really gross. Also, this feels like the most unique like artwork on any of the cards I've seen so far, but just like how defined it is. Everything else is a lot more like flowy, and this one has like very just distinct. I don't know. I usually don't pay attention to artwork, but this one in particular just like seems so unique.
Yeah, so the first time I read this card, I was actually I had just played some Keyforge, and I was in the mindset of Keyforge. I was like, holy crap, exhaust all your opponent's characters. That seems really good. But then I was like, wait a second. They ready their stuff at the start of the turn. I definitely think this is a card that we're gonna see other cards that combo with it. Like deal 1 to all your opponent's characters or something like that. Or like deal damage to 2 characters or 3 characters or some kind of nonsense like that will make him better. I think I agree right now, like not inkable at 5, fine stats, but he's all right.
Are you supposed to play like Iago on 3, on 4 use its ability, force your opponent to attack into it, and then on 5 play this and get value out of it that way? Like that doesn't seem that powerful. So
That's
I
so
don't know.
slow.
I don't know. It just seems slow. To me, it doesn't feel like a legendary either. Like
Yeah.
it's cool, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't do anything particularly exciting to me. Maybe
I mean, he's a
like
better
Genie seems
legendary.
way more exciting to me than this. Like if the rarities were swapped on Genie in this thing, that would make a little bit more sense to me. But
That raises a different point, Mike, and this is probably more for like a main topic when it comes to like collectability and legendaries. Like we've kind of gone back and forth about like what power level should a legendary have in a set where it's like this is going to be really hard to get because we've seen it get out of control where like Flesh and Blood where it's like sometimes there's a card you're like you have to have this card and it's
it's like $400,
$200 and I kind of like how it is a legendary because this beast feels like oh this could be good but then it also could just be like and so like you're not going to have to break the bank to
the
go
flip
get this.
side of that, which I mean, I do think this could be a whole episode, but the flip side of that is like if you open a pack and you get this and this is a legendary in it, are you happy? Are you excited that this was a legendary that you pulled? Does it make you want to go and open more packs? I don't know.
This card is a slightly more. I'm not as down on it as you are for sure. Like Gantu would be an argument for
Yeah.
like pulling
that thing. Is that
like
still in the set?
Oh, it's like, exactly.
Still here.
It's still in the set.
I can understand why this is a legendary simply because I feel like his upside of like exhausting 5 characters could be interesting if you have a board full of characters to swing in with.
There's one other thing that like Lorcana, I think I would consider is a factor, which is that I think that it's going to be a little bit more like Pokemon in that a lot of people just collect it and don't play. And the art looks cool. Beast looks badass. Like in Pokemon, like the legendary cards are like the most rare cards are not necessarily always the best. A lot of times they're not the best, but they look cool. And so maybe that's a factor here too, where it's like, it doesn't need to be competitive. It just needs to look badass and that's enough. So maybe that's the case for Lorcana.
True. And I can
I
get
can't
behind
say
that.
with my rainbow foils ASAP.
All right, I'm moving on. We're 42 minutes in. We still got lots to cover. So, one thing they did a Twitter Q&A on the actual Disney Lorcana Twitter account. We thought it was inactive. We thought it was kicked off of the social media sphere. Apparently, there is someone in the building who actually has the login information. They logged in, did a Q&A, and someone asked can we get the currently missing lore mounts on the following cards that have been spoiled. Goofy, and they answered all these. So Goofy has 2, Tigger has 2, Aladdin, Prince Ali has 1, and Lady Tremaine has 1. Not 3, guys. Not 3.
We guessed 2. We guessed 2.
Did we? There was definitely a point in time where I thought it was 3.
Now, I was gonna say there was a time we were very confident in 3. We played some games with it being a 3.
No, all our recorded games are, at least for me and Mike, are at 2. We called it at 2. Yes, 1 is very low for a non-inkable 6 cost with 1 attack and an ability that only happens when you play that character.
I said this in our Discord. I don't mind if she's bad because like recursion is so dangerous in the game.
Yes,
that like she should not also be able to win the game 3 times faster than she currently does. But I don't know. I see the argument the other way too, where it's like, okay, why do you ever even play this? Yeah. But the reason why you ever play this is because if you can do broken stuff with recursion.
Yes. It feels like I said this in Discord. So quick plug for our Discord channel. If you're not in there, get in there. But recursion in all the games I've played, the problems have always come from being able to get stuff back from your discard pile. In Star Wars Destiny, we had hyperspace jump that just like ended the action phase when you played it, and people would be able to get it back at will with different cards. That it just was gross. And so
it depends on how it happens too, right? So like that ability was, or that recursion instance was broken because of the way you were able to do it. with like Poe or whatever, like being able to claim and 100% of the time be able to do it every turn. Where it's like Return of the Jedi was a Destiny card from set 1 that no one ever played, and it was literally just pay 1 and get a card from your discard pile. So I think it just depends on how you do it too.
Okay.
Like you never put on, like putting on the Millennium Falcon to play any card from your discard pile for free was just dumb. Like how did you not expect that to be broken?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it has high potential for it to end up being bad for the game, I think, in a lot of cases. So I think like being a little bit safer on a card that does that is probably good, and we've already seen a lot of it, right? There's Hades, the 4-cost Hades. I think there may be one other card, but I don't know. It's a little spooky.
Oh yeah, there's several cards that recur stuff, which is really interesting to see.
I don't think it's a specific card that they have to recur. So it's like when it's like, oh, this gets backfire the cannon, so there's that like combo building to it. That I'm okay with.
When it's super narrow like that,
whatever you want, that's where it's like, ooh.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, really easy to design around, right? If it's super narrow, like they can figure out all the interactions there. But yeah, any, what do they call them in this games? Action cards? Any action card? I don't know.
But currently she seems unplayable. Like, honestly.
Yeah, she's bad.
I almost am like, why even give her that ability if this is like the design of the character? Like 1/5, 6 cost, that like you're literally just playing her at this stat line, you're playing her to get the card from your discard pile, not to have this creature on the board or this character on the board. So why not just like make a card that gets you a card from the discard pile? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I love that you called the Wicked Stepmother a creature.
It's creature.
All right.
What else? There's a couple other things.
Well, Jay, what do you want to talk about? Because I didn't think the other news was actually notable, but I think you liked a few things.
I mean, we could just Moana. As soon as you quest with her, all your other princesses have to challenge for that turn, so you can't use Moana more than once in a turn if you have 2 on the board. And the other thing is that when multiple triggers happen at the same time, the active player gets to decide what order they trigger in. They still didn't answer my question about Cheshire Cat and the broom, which is separate from multiple triggers at one time.
I asked that question last time and they didn't answer it either.
So I think they don't know.
They knew it came from us. And they were like, there's no way we're answering these guys' questions.
They haven't figured out the answer to it yet. They're waiting till the last minute to decide. But yeah, that's it. That was pretty much it. Nice. Nothing else interesting in that QA.
All right. Okay. Well, then let's move from Lorcana into a little game we call Swoo.
That's not what we call it. That you call Swoo. I call it Galaxy Shuffle. And so does Chick Donovan.
Galaxy Shuffle.
Okay, Star Wars Unlimited actually dropped a couple spoilers on us since the last time we recorded. They also posted some art, and we decided before the show we're not going to really talk about art. Not saying art isn't cool, it's just
give us cards.
Yeah. So we've got a spoiler. We've got a new leader, not Princess Leia, just Leia Organa, Alliance General. This is a green leader that has on her leader side has action. You exhaust her, attack with a rebel unit, then you may attack with another rebel unit. And I'll just read the other side too. So epic action, if you control 5 or more resources, deploy this leader. The other side of this is the leader side says she gets raid 1. This unit gets +1/+0 while attacking. And then when this unit completes an attack, you may attack with another rebel unit. And she's got 3 power and 6 health. So we've got more green. We love green spoilers on this podcast, don't we?
We do. First off,
Thoughts on Leia?
Her art is so good. I love
You
Yeah,
the art
just
in this
talked
card.
about not caring about
Just
art.
said-
I know, but it's so good. It's so good. For the audio listeners, go look at this card. You'll enjoy it. Second,
That's amazing.
how are we supposed to know what to think about this card when we don't know how to play the game yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they still not acknowledged the fact that the
No.
rules were leaked? Okay, cool.
No.
No, but
right.
we are, so
We're just gonna talk about these cards in view of how they play, because
Yeah, sure. We
Here we are.
can pretend
so
that we know how to play the game.
I remember Vader comes out, you can get him out at 6 resources. Was Luke 5 resources as well,
I don't remember.
or was he 6?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Wasn't
He's
I'm
I
looking
think
now.
a turn before Vader.
Okay,
So I think he's probably
then
5.
he's 5. So both Luke and Leia both come out at 5 as leaders. That's interesting. It kind of makes me wonder, like, the design space of, like, what if it
Yeah,
comes
Luke's
out
a
at
6,
leader
Vader
come-
7.
Oh
Okay.
snap! Vader's
Yeah.
7
Yeah,
So
I was gonna
Luke
say
is
Vader's
six.
not,
and Leia's
yeah, that's
5.
why
So we've seen a 5, a 6, and a
feels
7
early.
so far.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder how low they'll go.
Yeah, like what if they have a Jar Jar that comes out like 1 or 2? Like,
I will
would
play
be-
that every single game, every single tournament. Please, FFG, do this.
I want them to do 1 just because it would be redundant based off of those rules were leaked.
It makes me wonder, like, the impact of, like, leaders that come out earlier versus later. Like, if you get to round 8 and Vader comes out on 7, he just comes out and starts smashing things. Or, like, if you get a big advantage of coming out 2 rounds prior or 3 rounds prior, like, if that's a big enough advantage to give you the win before Vader can do too much. There's some interesting, like, space to think about. Also, her ability is kind of action cheaty, is what it seems like to me. And do you think they are gonna do, like, Destiny started having a lot of action cheating?
It sure did. It sure did. I mean, the game was defined by it, right? So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like if there is too much of it, it will be defined.
It's gonna
by
be
it.
the same
because
thing.
it's like in a game where you're taking back and forth actions, being able to take multiple actions in a row and skirt that is so good.
Yeah.
Almost universally. Like, it lets you get to the next round faster so that you continue to maintain initiative. It lets you take, actions before your opponent can respond to them. Like in this case where it's like, what is it? Attack with a rebel and then attack with another rebel. Is that basically what it is?
Yeah.
Like, imagine a scenario where, like, you're going first and you have initiative on a turn and you have 2 characters ready to attack or whatever, and your opponent has a way to remove at least one of those characters. You get to now attack and deal damage with both of those characters before they have a chance to react and remove yours, and that could be the game right there. So I don't know, these kinds of abilities I think are always very powerful.
The only game, so, like, I have a very limited experience with Ashes, so the only game that I can compare this system of, like, back and forth actions in a single round is to Destiny. So it makes me think of, like, what if you could activate both your characters and start resolving stuff before your opponent gets to? Like, that's a pretty big advantage, it feels like, because it's kind of a condensed here. So, like, a unit doesn't roll out and then resolve stuff. It just immediately
deals
does
its
its
damage,
damage.
right?
So it's almost like if I was playing Ray Luke and I rolled out and immediately got to resolve my damage. Like, that seems pretty significant.
It's like 2 hit and runs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In a way.
I mean, every attack is like 1 hit and run, but
It's like a hit and run into an It's a Trap into a OTK.
Don't get too excited there, David.
Too late.
Yeah, the fact that you don't roll in makes me think initiative could be very significant in this game. Because that was kind of the nice part about Destiny was, like, okay, they usually had to at least show that they were about to kill you. Rather than this game, it seems like it's just they can attack and kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
I do like as a general game mechanic. I like the raid mechanic that when she attacks, she gets +1. It's similar to Challenger in
Mhm.
Lorcana,
Lorcana, yeah.
where I feel like it's an easy way to balance characters where you want to. It's like if you just have a static number and it's the same all the time, it kind of takes
That's
away
less
some of the
interesting.
nuance and strategy away. So I like raid, and you can obviously get real crazy with that. If
Do you
they
think-
if they do it well?
What I mean, maybe this is a dumb question, but like, if the opposite existed as a mechanic, where it was like when it is attacked, it gets extra health or something like that, or extra. I guess
It
would that
can't-
even do anything?
it doesn't
though?
work.
No, yeah, it wouldn't work because then it would just die.
It would have to be like it blocks a certain amount of damage
Yeah,
rather than gains health.
Right. Or if it gained attack when it
Or
was
pre-
attacked.
or
maybe
Yeah, it could
prevents-
get +1, +0 when defending.
when
like
defending
it
or
could.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting things that I'm thinking about.
Yep.
Like almost like thorns in like a game where I don't know, like Monster Train or something like that, where it's like when you're attacked, you deal damage back to the attacker, but you always deal damage back to the attacker. So maybe not.
Yep. Well, we
It's
got
also
another.
like comparing raid to challenger, because in Lorcana you can't attack something that's ready. So is it what is that space like? What's it feel different there? So which
Raid's
game
better,
is it
right?
better in?
Because in Lorcana, you don't win by dealing damage to your opponent. In Star Wars, you do. So Raid lets you win
It's just
faster.
better, right?
I think it is just better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the other spoiler we got was actually today, and I gotta tip my cap that I'm not wearing. Well, I'll tip Mike's cap to FFG for this one. Actually, no, I take it back. I tip Jim's hat because it's thematic. World's Greatest Dad. They released
Thank
a
you.
card. It's a villain event called "I Am Your Father" with Vader
No.
reaching out, and it says, and it costs 3. It says deal 7 damage to an enemy unit unless its controller says, "quote unquote," no. If they do, draw 3 cards.
Okay.
It's kind of funny, kind of cute, but I also, similar to Lorcana, worry that it's gonna get cringy. Where like in Lorcana, I don't want
No.
anybody to sing their song cards to me.
Okay,
This
that's
game,
gonna
if
happen,
somebody, well, I know 100%, especially because I'm saying that I don't want it to
Yes.
happen.
Every opponent that you face
100%.
to
I'm
you.
resigned to the fact that that is going to be reality.
in the demo we do at Gen Con, I will sing to you.
That's a given.
I don't know. I think it's fine, like for people to role play it, whatever, like have fun. But it's just kind of a weird thing to print on a card. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
just like
agree.
too normal.
You
I don't
guys
know.
hate fun.
No. So like Magic has these like unsets where they do goofy stuff like this.
That's
Yeah,
what it feels like. Yeah.
Why not have it in a set like that and not in competitive?
Guys, we're
play?
talking
But
about a
whatever,
game.
whatever.
I
We're
mean,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
a game.
You're
I
right.
cannot
you're
wait
right.
for the judge call.
What is
where
this,
someone-
Hyperloops?
So you're gonna play this card and
And
say,
he's gonna
like,
be
"Hey,
like-
are you hungry?" And the person's gonna say no, and be like, "Haha, this
You
thing
said
happened."
no, or they're gonna
Yeah,
shake their
I
head.
got
Or
you
they're
to
gonna
say
say
no.
like,
And they're gonna say judge, and then they're gonna have to go through their whole conversation. Like, did you physically say no? Like, that's the level that we're now playing at. Sharking because somebody said no, sort of. Like,
If
I mean,
anyone,
okay.
if I'm in a competitive event and someone does that, I am picking up my cards and I'm going to B-dubs like Jim does in every tournament. He drops when he's doing well and he goes to B-dubs. And I'm going to go eat some buffalo wings because this is a freaking game and I don't want to play against someone like that. So I think it's
completely agree with
hilarious.
that part.
I love it. Like I want more of that. I don't even care. It's probably a hot take, but just stuff like that.
No,
I mean, they could have
I
said
don't-
like, "Oh, your opponent chooses whether you can do 7 or you draw 3," but they lean into the theme a little bit. Like it is Star Wars. Like this is not Flesh and Blood or Keyforge. It has this generic IP. It's like this is Star Wars. So
I would.
I
Agree
want a
with
Java
you.
card where you have to yell "Utini." Like
Yes.
that's where we're going.
If both of those existed, it would make more sense. If I don't know if there are more like this, but if this is the only card where something like this happens, it's a little bit less cool to me.
I want a card that says "I love you," and your opponent has to say "I know," and then you get to do a thing or something like that. You know?
Yo, so what if this was an event, but it was a quote, right? So you could exhaust Vader to play this for free.
It was a quote. Get out of here. Sue them.
I think you just invented a new card type.
I think you just invented a new lawsuit.
Yeah.
You stole it.
Yeah. Wow.
The whole gaming industry at Gen Con is just going to be pointing fingers at each other like, ah, get the lawyers.
So do you think you ever let someone deal 7 to one of your units?
Other
I
than
don't know.
drawing 3?
Drawing 3 is a lot, but also
Like
this
7
game
can
is
defeat
pretty.
your leader, dude.
Yeah,
But 3 defeat your leader.
yeah.
But
It just
you
says
win by
enemy
killing
unit. It
a
doesn't say
base.
non-leader unit. Like it. I don't know. I probably do sometimes though. Like what's the value of 3 cards in this game? It's like a turn and a half. Like
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
you start the game with 4 cards in hand. So like sometimes I'm like, man, that's real low. Even if you do draw
like,
2 at
cards
the
are
end of
pretty
every turn.
free flowing. I feel like with the 2 cards per turn thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think. I mean, that said, drawing cards in a card game is always like the best thing to do in a card game. So
Yeah, but like I don't know, it costing 3. Like
yeah, it's a little expensive.
imagine on turn 3 in Lorcana, you paid to play friends from the other side. Doesn't that feel like such a huge tempo hit to
Yeah,
just
it
not
can.
put anything on the board that turn? Or remove anything from that turn?
That's fair.
Yeah. I also think like generally a card that lets your opponent decide the outcome usually
That's
like
bad.
isn't very good.
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I was
Unless
literally.
both things are
I went
really
back and
good.
reread it because I was like, I wonder if they don't have an enemy unit for some reason, like, do you automatically draw 3? But I think the way it's worded, they would just say legally
interesting.
you can target an enemy unit that doesn't exist. Right? Like you couldn't just say like, oh,
deal
you don't have an
7
enemy unit,
damage
so I
to
get
an
3
enemy
cards.
unit unless its controller
I don't
says
know.
no.
I don't think you can even play this if you don't have a target.
I agree with that.
You have to pick a target. You probably have to pick a target first and then play it. Or like start to resolve it. But I Am Your Father in Destiny was a 2-cost event that said resolve an opponent's character die as if it were your own unless they discarded all cards from their hand. So it was also a choose your opponent chooses.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like thematic, right? It's like join me. Like Luke has to make a choice in this
You
moment,
love theme,
I guess.
Mike. I know you do.
No, I do, but like I don't know. I don't know if this is a good card. The art is sick though. going back
Thematically, though, he's not dealing 7 damage to Luke, and then Luke has the choice of.
Well, doesn't he cut off his hand or something? Or is that after?
That
or is
already
that before?
happens.
That was before.
Yeah.
That already happens.
He lets him fall to his death.
Well, does he let him fall or does
The
Luke
drawing,
jump,
the drawing jumps. 3 cards is the temptation.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Okay, I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Good.
I don't know. I like it. I still think it's weird if this is the only card that's like kind of memey like this.
I want more. Give me more.
I like.
I'm okay with more.
It's the Kylo Ren meme. More. It's good. All right, we've been recording an hour already. We didn't even hit the main topic. I think we have to save the main topic for another cast because we've been talking for so long.
Let's do it.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
it's just a little teaser for next week. Oh, we have some spice for y'all.
There it is.
Don't you guys miss it. It'll be our best episode. I don't even know what the main topic is, but I know that it's true.
It's gonna be a banger.
That's it. I gotta go assemble the rest of my Ahsoka Tano Shatterpoint figure. So
good luck. I hope that you do not slice another finger.
No, she did, but earlier I don't know if it's not hair, it's not tentacles. I don't know what you call those. Like the big things. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, but they're very pointy, and I was trying to get it off of the like. I don't know what you call it, and it definitely poked me, and like it was like, oh, not again, like stupid figures.
You paid money to experience pain.
I know. This is ridiculous. I want to pay someone else to experience that pain and then give me the final product. So I will bring the figures to Gen Con if anyone wants to paint them at Gen Con for me. We can talk. Final thoughts, guys, before we say bye-bye.
I'm really excited for Gen Con.
Yeah, it's coming up.
46 days, I think.
I'm pretty pumped.
Oh yeah, we did a community event. I don't think we've had a podcast since we did that. It went really
right.
well, and people were
Yeah, it
getting
was a lot of
free
fun.
swag. So you should join us the next time we do it.
Yeah. I've got those playmats coming in a couple weeks, so
Let's go.
yeah. I'm gonna bring some to Gen Con too. So if you're at Gen Con, be there and hang out with us, and maybe you'll get some cool stuff.
Yep. I think that's it.
All
Bye.
right.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.